Here with EliGE at CAC 2025, your first big event with Liquid in over 2 years. How does it feel to be back?
Feels really exciting. I've just been itching to come back and play and to get into the tournaments and everything like that. I wish that we had a little bit more time for practice. Always do feel like that, but at least this is a bit better circumstances than Birch Cup was.
What has practice looked like between Birch Cup and now?
It's been a little bit scuffed, I'm not gonna lie, just because of some travel complications essentially. But we've gotten enough games in. I think that we've had enough practice time. Of course, I'd like more, but I think that we've had enough where we can do some damage here.
One thing that you mentioned when we chatted with you at Birch was that initially when you were on phase, they were a little bit more receptive to the playstyle changes that you had recommended, but then over time they sort of shifted away from those recommendations. I know it's only been a brief time back on Liquid, but do you feel like maybe they're more receptive to your considerations so far?
Well, I think the main thing is just the team structure and play style that everyone is happy with the direction that you want to go, and that you're all speaking the same Counter-Strike, where on phase it was just completely two opposite ends, where I think that they were open to trying it in the beginning when I got picked up initially, and then it was probably just a little bit too different, I'd say. And I think since as the year went on, trying to fit myself into their system as much as I can, but I can't really be as vocal and come up with as many answers, because it's just a different system of how I would approach doing things in my position essentially. Whereas here on Liquid, I think that we're already speaking the same language. I'm not really I'm more trying to learn what they already have and then make suggestions after. I don't really want to interfere too much, especially when they have the structure that I already like and stuff like that. So for me, it's more about getting used to what they already say right now, and the suggestions and working on things and all that stuff is just going to come over time, and we're just going to do it step by step. And I think already I feel a lot more comfortable just being able to play naturally how I always do essentially.
So, I mean, speaking of that structure, what has it been like playing under the leadership of siuhy and flashie so far?
I'm still a little bit new, so I haven't gotten enough games in, I'd say. But just initial first impressions is really positive. It's the type of way that you go about things and you structure rounds that I'm very familiar with, and I think that we haven't had as much time in practice, so I'm not gonna go off of our scrim results or anything like that. I think that this is gonna be a good first testing ground to see what we have, what we need to keep working on, and what we have to keep on refreshing up, or seeing ways that we can make sure that everyone's more on the same page a little bit easier, because that's essentially what the structure is. Structure to me is just an easy way to get everybody on the same page of how you want to do things. And when everyone's speaking the same language, and we're able to communicate with each other properly, and we have the correct expectations during the round, after the round, of what we want to do and how we want to solve problems, that's when we can be successful. But of course there's going to be a lot more groundwork that you have to do, a lot more preparation as well, to be able to get the results when you are playing in this way.
The only familiar face on the team at this point for you is Naf. I'm a little curious if you've noticed any development in maybe the way that he again, still early days for you guys, but is there a new Naf, or is it still sort of the same as it was 2 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to say because I feel like I just got here, literally. So just overall first impressions, he's still very similar, maybe a little bit more talkative now, but it's really hard for me to say. I've heard a lot of good things about Heath, especially since the player break from all the guys, and I'm hoping to see that as well. I'm sure he's wanting to see how I've developed in the years that we've been away as well. But yeah, still early days, but overall excited. Yeah.
So with all this in mind, I mean, what are the expectations for this event? You're coming here with not a whole lot of practice, but there's not that many top teams here either. Do you guys expect to be sort of in title contending form right away here?
We haven't really discussed expectations of we're coming here to win the event or anything like that. We understand our timetable of when I joined, how much practice we've had since then. I'm still getting used to the names, the the structure, the how we do things. So it's still like super early days, but like as you said, there isn't like a ton of top teams here, but they're no slouches either. Like any tier 2, 3 team, like you can still lose to anybody right now, especially if you're not playing on top of your game. So our goal, at least from my perspective, is we play as solid as we can. We play our best, and we come from this event with like lots of stuff to work on. And the stronger that we come out swinging, then we're gonna have a little bit less. And I think that we can definitely do some damage here. I would definitely like to make playoffs minimum. That's just how I'm always gonna think. But at the same time, I know that it is super early days. I'm still I'm excited, but I'm also like a little bit nervous at the same time because I don't typically come into tournaments like like with this little practice and like this little certainty of how we're gonna be playing essentially. So just like having like this little time makes me a little bit nervous, but I've just been so excited to get started. Like the time in between Birch Cup and now, I've been so excited to play. So I'm really really excited to get started here.
You guys don't have that much time between now and Bucharest either, though, right? So I mean, the first real like practice that you guys are going to get is between Bucharest and the major.
Exactly. Yeah, we actually talked about that. It's a little bit scuffed from to start to finish. Not the most ideal amount of practice time in between all of these tournaments. Like you said, Birch Cup to now, it's not really been like that much at all. And after we are done here, we go to Bucharest. I think it's 3 or 4 days, and then we go straight into Bucharest. So I think everything is going to be on the job training. You're just going to just on the job, whatever we have to learn, we have to just take it day by day, talk after every single game, fix as much as we can, focus as much as we can, and try not to get too in our own heads about all the things that we have to work on, and just try to play our game.
All right, sweet. And then the last thing I'm wondering about, you've got Gamerlegion opening best of one. Just any thoughts on that matchup?
I think Gamerlegion is a strong team. I think that they're one of like the stronger teams in like the bottom 10. I don't know exactly their ranking, but I consider them around that area. I think that we are as well. So I think that we're going to be pretty evenly matched. They're a hard team, and in terms of map pool, I don't really know. That's for my coach and for my IGL to decide. So I don't know. I think it's going to be a hard game, and we're just going to have to do as good as we can.
All right, sweet. Thank you very much.